to another episode of the Who You Know Show podcast, where what you know is important, but who you know can make all the difference in your business, career, relationships, and life. My name is Trevor Houston, and on this show, you'll learn the strategy, grit, and mindset it takes to overcome obstacles so you can level up in your career, recover your cash flow, and live the life of purpose that God intended for you. Don't forget to look at the mic drop moments time-stamped in the show notes below. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, make sure to pay it forward, subscribe, and leave an honest review so we can improve. Thanks for listening. My name is Trevor Houston, and please enjoy this episode of the Who You Know Show.
Well, welcome. Super excited about this episode. This is long overdue. I'm excited. We're sitting down here today with Jen Gottlieb. Woo! And Jen, how are you? Oh my goodness, how are you?
Oh my gosh, I'm so good. So happy to be here with you finally. I feel like we've been chatting audio since 2020.
Yes.
Clubhouse. That's how we met, right?
That is exactly how we met. I think you were there the very first day Glenn Lundy opened Breakfast with Champions, right? Were you there the first? Yep. Day one. Yep. We were all in there. And I'm still doing that. Are you still doing that?
I have not been on Clubhouse probably for, I popped on for like shits and giggles when Threads came out. Like first I was like, oh, for a memory. I bet you people are talking about this on Clubhouse. So I popped on for a second. It was all the same people. I was like, this is amazing. It feels like deja vu, but I haven't been on there for like a year, to be honest.
Well, I'm excited you're here. Let me just real quickly give the audience a quick introduction, okay? So Jen, she is freaking extraordinary, y'all. She's an extraordinary entrepreneur, an international speaker, and she's the co-founder of Super Connector Media, okay? I love the sound of that, okay? Super Connector Media sounds kind of like Who You Know, okay? But just on steroids, y'all. She's better at it than I am, okay? She's a lot better at it. Her journey, okay, I got to hear her this weekend, okay? I went to her conference. Look at this. Build Your Brand Live AI, okay? I'm still wearing it. Jen, I didn't stop wearing it, okay? So I went to her conference. It was amazing. And her journey, y'all, from Broadway actress to a powerhouse businesswoman. And it's a testament to her unwavering commitment to helping others be seen, okay, authentic and confident. So today we're going to dive into her new book, okay? This is her brand new book, Be Seen, where she shares a bunch of insights, guys, and real life stories, actionable steps, and everything is designed to help you break free from self-doubt and embrace your uniqueness. So Jen, welcome to the Who You Know Show.
That was an amazing introduction. This is the first I've done a lot of podcasts. The first one where someone's wearing the lanyard from my event and has the actual hardcover of the book because it's not even out yet. Only people that come to the event get all these goodies. This is so fun. Thank you, my friend.
That's right. And I got the autograph. So I was super sneaky, by the way, about this, okay? Because you put it out there at the conference. You were like, hey, buy the book. And, I got some back there and I'll autograph them and stuff like that. Okay. So I was like, cool. So I bought the book. And so I just went out while they were doing the panel. Okay. I didn't wait for instructions. Okay. I went out while they were doing the panel and I was like, hey, I got the receipt right here. So they were like, they didn't know what to do. Everyone was like, I don't know. What are we supposed to do? Is it time yet? Are we doing this now? Are we not doing this now? And they were like, yeah, just give them a book. So I made sure I got my autograph. Okay. I was like, I'm going to get it. But it was an awesome event. I got to tell you that really, there was a couple times you had me kind of like choked up, had me watered up, and it was great. It was super powerful. But your book, okay, let's want to talk about this real quick. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not just a title, Be Seen. Okay. It's a powerful message. Now, can you tell the audience what it truly means to be seen and why it's essential for someone's personal and professional growth?
Well, I originally was going to write this book to teach entrepreneurs and business owners how to build brands online, right? To be visible, make sure you're being visible enough for the people that you help to be able to find you. And when I look back and connect the dots of my journey, I realized that for so long I was being seen, but I was not seeing myself for who I really was. And so in order to be seen, it's unbelievably important that the first step that you take is to fully allow yourself to see you as exactly who you are. I get to talk to a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners who are building their brand, and they find themselves, this is a common theme. Like, Jen, I've built this business and like this life that everybody else wanted for me. And I'm so out of
Mm.
alignment and I'm not showing up online as who I really am. I've been showing up as this person that I thought I needed to be for so long, for this person and that person, my parents, my partner, my kids, whoever. And I really want to pivot and I really want to start allowing the world to see me. But I don't even know what that looks like for myself. And it's too scary for me to actually press go on that. How do I get clear and how do I create the courage in order to first see it for myself and second be able to show it to the world? And that's what this book is about. It's about being able to tap into who you really are because that's your superpower.
Oh my goodness. So I got to give you a mic drop for that. Hold up. Because check it out. It reminds me, okay, this reminds me of when I made a transition from the auto industry into financial services, and I started a financial services business. And I remember when I first got here into financial services, I was like 28 years old, had a lot of imposter syndrome. I'm talking to people in their 50s and 60s about their retirement investments and stuff like that. And I'm like 28 years old, you know what I mean? I'm thinking, I just had imposter syndrome. Like I was thinking they don't think I know anything, right? So I would dress up, okay, way over, and I was like wearing fake glasses and stuff like that to try to make myself look smarter. And like I was just being someone I'm not. I was talking different, just trying to sound more educated and like I don't know, like you see me now, I'm very unpolished. My authentic self is just like I just am who I am, you know? Anyways, but it reminds me of that. Like when I first got into business, I was fronting, okay? I was fronting, stunting, okay? And
Isn't that exhausting?
ugh, ugh, it's
It's
gross.
exhausting. It's exhausting. It just you can't keep it up for that long. I was too,
Mm-mm.
you read the book, my whole story. You heard it at the event, but the whole
Mm-hmm.
first section of the book is me finding myself on my dressing room floor. I was on a TV show for 5 years about heavy metal music. And I don't like heavy metal music. And I was known in the world as this metal girl. And I was like, who the hell are you, Jen? And like, what's going to happen when all this goes away? And how are you going to show up in the world? And it takes a lot to be able to really see yourself as who you truly are in order to get back into alignment, or at least it did for me. And my whole journey is in the book and the step by step system, I guess you would say. Like when I look backwards, like exactly what I did in order to create the brand and the business that I have now is mapped out. But some of it I did on accident, and some of it was very purposeful. But
Mm,
yeah, it really it didn't take off until I just like let the mask down and let the world
mm.
really see me for the imperfections and the messiness and the fact that don't know anything about heavy metal music.
That's awesome. I mean, yeah. So, okay. So you also talked at the conference about your journey as a Broadway actress, okay, and how you even got into that, and like, wow, the grit and the perseverance and what you did to get there. So, can you share a little bit about that story, and then tell us, how did your experiences in the entertainment industry, how did that translate in your approach to business and personal development?
Pretty much every single thing that I know about business, I learned from my acting career. It's
Mm,
so crazy how everything really comes into play now, and I'm so grateful that I had all of those experiences, even the really crappy ones, because they taught me everything that I needed today, especially the rejection,
mm,
especially. So the story that for all you listeners that have no idea, you're like, "Wait, I've just gotten into this conversation." I'm like in the middle. If you have no idea what Trevor's talking about, I was in the Broadway national tour of The Wedding Singer, which was, the Adam Sandler movie, The Wedding Singer, and when I first moved to New York City, I was actually a college dropout, and I moved to New York to study musical theater at 20 years old and just, like, started seeing a bunch of Broadway shows, and I went to this 2-year conservatory program, and one of the shows that I saw during that time was The Wedding Singer, and I remember seeing this character come out onto the stage, and if you've seen the movie, you'll be familiar with the character of Linda, and she's the bitch that leaves Robbie Hart at the altar, and she's like this crazy heavy like metal rock and roll. She's kind of like if like Pat Benatar and Madonna from the Like a Virgin days had a baby, it would be this character. And I saw this character on stage, and I was just like, this is my role. I just never resonated with like the good girl or the princess. I wanted to play like the bad girl. And
why is that? Can I ask why? Like
I
there's
don't know. It's
something
just
in there. Like you went
so
from
much more fun.
the punk rock chick, right? There's some kind of rebel in there. What's going on, Jen?
I was always very rebellious as a teenager, but I thought that those roles are so much more fun. They're so much more spicy. There's so much more to work with. There's so much more, and I like making people laugh. So it was a comedic
Ah.
role, and everyone was laughing, and she stole the show, and it was a magical moment when I saw her, and I turned to my friend. I said, "I'm going to play that part one day," and he looked at me and he laughed because at the time I was living in like a 8 foot by 8 foot room with a bunk bed and like going to school every day. And I had never been to a Broadway audition. Like I couldn't have been
Mm.
further from the person that would have a shot at actually playing that role. So he laughed at me. And the story that I tell on stage in my keynote, and it's in the book, is basically how I use I don't use the word manifested in the book, but I'll use it here. I truly believe that I used a combination of visualization plus unbelievable amounts of action taking and putting myself out there and persevering even when I didn't get it and trying again and getting creative and betting on myself and doing crazy things to get it and not getting it and being the understudy forever and then eventually finally after probably it was over a year's time of working my butt off to make this vision become a reality. It did. And I end up finding myself on a stage in the same costume as the actress that I saw on Broadway, like the exact same costume that she wore. It had her name in it taped in the bustier, performing and looking out at the audience. And the visual that I saw of the audience and the lights and the costume and me singing was the exact same visual, like deja vu that I had done when I was just
Mm.
pretending that this was for me years ago. And when that happened, I remember I walked backstage and I collapsed on the ground and I looked up. I was like, "Oh my God, anything that you want, you can create." And it didn't
Mm.
come just from like visualizing it and praying and hoping. It came from not getting it and not getting it and trying again and trying again and trying again and not giving up and not giving up and not giving up. And it reminded me that if you persevere and if you consistently take action and if you have a little bit more belief than you don't, even when it's really tough and it feels like it's not possible, you will achieve what you want. And if you don't achieve exactly what you want, you'll achieve something so much better for you anyways. And I
Mm.
found that to be true in business. And whenever I look back at that story and I look back at the resilience that I had, I remind myself now that whenever something's not going my way in business, I'm like, you keep going, girlfriend. If you don't get it now, you'll get it next time. But if you stop, you're guaranteed not to get it.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And you even talked about how you 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 were trying out and you did some pretty amazing things to get in, right? And then you got a role, but it wasn't the role that you were hoping for. You were kind of like the backup,
I was the
right?
understudy, yeah.
Yeah. And but the way you framed that, right? A lot of people would have been like upset or what have you, but your mindset, you looked at it as an opportunity to learn and to really be mentored by the person who was doing what you wanted to be doing. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, it's one of the most important lessons of the entire story because now, if you're listening to this and you're an entrepreneur, there's probably a very high chance that you're scrolling the internet and you're seeing other people doing the thing that you want to do. And
Mm,
maybe you're having that feeling of like, oh my God, that should be me. And you're comparing yourself. So here's me, a little actress, and I've been dying to get this role for ages and ages and ages. And I finally get to be in the show and I'm the understudy. And I have to watch this other girl play the part that I'm dying to play. And I'm so close. So I had 2 options. I could either hate her, and I felt that percolating in me, like, I kinda wanted to hate her, be angry, be pissed off about it, just be like, "God, I hate her, like, I'm not gonna be nice to her, I'm just gonna whatever." Or I could remind myself that this girl got it and I didn't for a reason. She
mm,
must be doing something that I need to learn. And so what if I just flipped my FOMO into fuel and gratitude and be grateful that I have this person showing me the way? Because here's the one guarantee there is somebody out there that's doing what you want to do already. They're doing it.
mhm,
And they're doing it well. And if you can actually in the book I talk all about standing on the shoulders of other giants and learning from others and they've paved the yellow brick road for you. How can you take the steps that they took and make it your own? So I was like, what is she doing here? Why did she say that line that way? Why did she move that way there? How did she do the costume change that fast? And I made her my mentor and I leaned into learning and gratitude and focused on just understanding and knowing that she was paving the way for me so that when I got my opportunity, I could be even better. And that helped me in so many ways. First of all, it helped me get better. I clearly needed that time to perfect the skill and perfect the songs and the lines, and I wasn't ready yet. And she helped me. So thank God I was the understudy. Thank God I had that mentor. But it could have easily gone the other way. I could have easily rejected it. I could have easily been pissed off. I could have easily been jealous and not have allowed that to propel me forward. And it did. And I went the other way, thank God, and ended up performing the role and crushing it, knocking it out of the park. And they made me the part for the rest of the whole tour. So it ended up being for me.
That's exactly right. I love that, because your attitude about the situation, right? I was having a conversation with a friend of mine just the other day. Reminds me very similar, right? Because she actually has a mentor and a partnership with this person that she's doing some work with, and she got a little bit upset when her mentor decided to go outside and get some consulting for somebody who does what she does. And she was like, oh, she took it so personally, because she's like, man, we've got this partnership, and like, she went outside and got some services that I provide. Like, what is it about me? Like, she was taking it all personal. And I told her, I said, listen, it sounds like what the other person offers, you're not able to deliver that yet. Okay. You're getting there, but you're not able to fully deliver that yet. So like, take this as an opportunity to learn, right? Like, learn what that person's offering, learn, look at their business model. Like, you get to shadow it now. You get to, look behind the curtain and see what is it, and anyway, so I just told her to reframe her perception on it. And it sounds like that's, really what you did. And I love that you did that, because so many people would just get frustrated. They feel like, I don't know, they take it personal, right? And it's hard. It is hard, because it is personal, right? It's your life, it's your dream, it's your passion. So it is personal, right? But if you can reframe your attitude and look for the opportunity in it, I think that you'll go so much further. So I love that. Another question I have for you is about pressures to conform. You told the story on stage about how you had a deal, right? It was a speaking gig, came your way, and they wanted you to kind of dress down, right? And you basically kind of like told them no. Can you share some insights into how you've kind of overcome some of these obstacles of, pressures to conform, and you've learned how to embrace your true authentic self? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, what that story is I got a call from my speaker agent, and he was like, "I've been pitching you a lot. People love your content. There's these 2 stages specifically that were like, we love Jen. We love everything that she has to say. She would be great, but we can't hire her because she dresses too provocatively." And then they went on to say, he said that one of them said, in fact, she dresses too nightclub. So and I had a moment when he said this to me, and
I don't think so, by the way, Jen. I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't think to nightclub. But anyways, you rock the stage. You rock it. You did wherever stage you're on, you rock it. So anyway.
Of course. And what I didn't like about that was they love her content. They love what she has to say. So it had nothing to do with what was coming out of my mouth. It had everything to do with like what I looked like and what I was what I looked like, which is crazy, because I know so many male speakers that get onto stages and they wear like t-shirts and baseball caps and sneakers and jeans and ripped jeans, whatever they want, and
Gary
nobody
V.
says a word. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's great, and it works for him, and everyone's thrilled to have him on stage and whatever the hell he wants to wear. But
Sure.
here's what happened. Like, in that moment, my first reaction was like, "Oh, okay, we'll just tell them that I'll dress however they want. Like, it's fine." And then I paused, and I was like, "You know what? Like, I teach people how to live in their truth and to be the most authentic version of themselves and to do whatever they need to do in order to feel confident, and here's the thing, not everybody's going to be for you in the way that you are, and that's totally fine." And I said to my speaker agent, I'm like, "You know what? We're going to say no thank you to those stages, because they're clearly not stages that I would want to be on either, because they don't get it." And it's fine. Like, I'm cool to adhere to a dress code. If you have a dress code at your company, I'm cool to adhere to it. But to just go ahead and say that flat out, not even like, "Oh, could she adhere to the dress code? But we can't bring her on at all because she dresses too provocatively in general." First of all, I think that that's the wrong thing to say in 2023. You can't say that. And second of all, I'm just gonna keep being me, because I trust and I know that the more that I'm myself, the more people are going to bring me on for that very specific reason. And the funny thing is, Trevor, and now that happened about a year ago, is people specifically want me to speak on their stage because of the style that I bring.
Well, yeah, that's what I was about to say. And okay, Jen, now you got a story to tell, okay? And you're going to tell the story like you do, and people are going to go, oh, shoot, we'll have her on our stage. Boom. Totally. Now you got another deal. Boom. Now you got another one. Boom, boom,
That's
boom.
That's what
right?
happened. Yeah, exactly.
Let's go.
Like, I can't wait to have her. It's like, dress, please. People have called me and they're like, dress more, Jen. What Jen outfit are you going to bring? It's become part of it. And so the person that's listening, what's your secret sauce that maybe some people don't understand? Because not everybody's going to understand you. And here's the thing, if nobody pushed the boundaries, nobody would grow and expand and nothing would change. So are you the person that's going to push the boundaries to be your authentic self? As long as you're being kind and being a good person and being generous and just living in your authentic truth and sticking to your values that are good intentions. Like, I don't want anyone to go out there and be a terrible person, but like, be you, and that will stretch the boundaries, and that will actually carve out your space. It'll carve out your identity and your brand in the sea of sameness.
I love it. I love it. Cause you know what, Jen, I am so different in financial services. Okay.
Yeah.
I am not your typical suit and tie Wall Street guy, like blah, 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 talking over people and using big lingo and jargon. Like, you can see how I am. What's crazy about that is I'm seeing now that it's like podcasting and all the stuff that I'm doing, it's becoming one of my superpowers. Now I'm going to be training and teaching other agents and advisors how to do this. And that's going to be my big setup. So, anyways, but yeah, it's being different, not being just like everybody else, be yourself. So I love that you talk about that. Okay. The confidence continuum. Okay. It's a concept you talk about. And can you explain the idea of how individuals can use this to build consistent confidence, right? Because I think, I've had times in my life where I've been up and down with the confidence. Okay. How does someone build consistent confidence?
Well, confidence is going to be inconsistent. I'm just going to let everybody know. Like, that is okay. That is okay. Because I'm sitting here telling you that my confidence is not always at level 100 ever, actually. It's always, especially when you're growing and you're stretching, you're always going to have different levels of confidence. You're going to have the imposter syndrome. You're going to have the fear. You're going to have the insecurity. You're going to have the doubt, especially if you're growing and stretching yourself and doing hard things. So I don't talk about having consistent confidence that's at 100, like level 100 all the time. No, that's not what we're after, because if you're waiting for consistent 100% level or 100% level confidence all the time to take action, you're never going to take action. So the key is to understanding that confidence can be built over time. You can build more confidence, but it's about consistently taking action. So confidence is built by consistently sticking with the commitments you make with yourself. So every single time you tell yourself you're going to do something that's maybe a little bit scary or difficult or hard, maybe you have a challenge for the day and it's something you're terrified to do and you're not confident in that thing and you feel scared, but you go and you do it anyway. You bring fear along with you. You bring imposter syndrome along with you. You bring all the doubt along with you. You bring like the 51% of belief along with you, and you do it and you get to the other side. You feel unbelievably proud of yourself and you prove to yourself that you can do hard things. You put another coin in the confidence bank. So the confidence continuum all starts with that scary action step. It's starting with zero confidence or a little confidence, like maybe like 1% of confidence. And then once you've done that hard thing, you develop a little bit more because you get the win. And the win comes on the other side of doing the hard thing. So let's say you do the thing you're afraid to do, you get to the other side of it, you did it. Oh my God, I did it. Wow. And then something cool happens as a result of doing that hard thing, whether that's like you feel really proud of yourself, or maybe you got a really great result, or maybe you learned something new, or you met a new person. Oh my gosh, when I do hard things, good things happen. Whoa. You're training your subconscious that you can trust yourself to do something hard, get to the other side. And when you do, you get a reward. So that way, the next time something hard comes around, you have a little bit more confidence to do that hard thing. So you do it again, and then you get another win, and maybe that win is bigger that time. It's like, whoa, someone wants to hire me now because I did that hard thing. Holy crap, this works. Then you start to create momentum, because then you start doing the hard things consistently. That makes you become more confident of a person over time for sure. But that does not mean that sometimes you're not going to have moments of not feeling very confident. At least I've never gotten to that point. My confidence is being tested every single day. But because I prove to myself consistently that I stick with my commitments no matter what, no matter if I don't feel confident or not, I'm sticking with my damn commitment. Like, I go live on Instagram every single day, no matter what. And I do that Half because people are counting on me to do it now because I do it every day. So I have accountability behind it. But half because I know that every time that I don't stick to my commitment, I'm actually telling my subconscious mind that I can't trust myself to show up and I will be diminishing my confidence if I do that. So all I care about is even if I'm not feeling confident, I show up and I do the hard thing anyway. I don't fail. I go, I do it anyway. It might be sucky. It might be not that great, but that is how you build confidence over time.
I love that. Listen, oh my goodness. So I'm going to be a little bit vulnerable with you right now, if that's
I
okay.
love it. Please.
Okay. We're going to get vulnerable.
This is a safe space.
Okay. So, as with most people, right, it's the number one fear in the world, right? What is that? Public speaking, right? Number one fear in the world. So I had that too. And I figured out where that stemmed from. I did a little bit of self-searching and figured out where it came from. So growing up, in school, I was a rebel too. Okay. I got in a lot of trouble. I was in and out of juvenile detention facilities. I got a lot of mess. Okay. Early on in my life. And I was in this class. They had me in special ed class. They had me in, I rode the short bus and everything. They had me in special ed. It was positive attitudes for success. Okay. And so they took all the kids with like attitude problems and anger problems and stuff like that. They said, oh, you're ADD, put them on pills and threw them in a room with all the other disabled kids, like truly disabled kids and anger issue kids, put them in the same room. Whose idea was that? I don't know whose idea was that. But anyways, that's what they did. And then they also had a padded room in there. Okay. So they throw you in a padded room if you got too rowdy. And then at lunchtime, okay, this was the only time you were able to go out and do anything. Okay. Otherwise, you're in this room, you're locked up. They throw you in a padded room, all that kind of stuff. And then at lunchtime, they're like, hey, go. Okay. So I'd go out at lunch and I felt like everybody was just staring at me. I felt like an outcast. I felt absolutely terrified. Oh my gosh. I didn't know anybody. I'm walking around my tray and I'm like, where do I go? And I just felt like an outcast. So I used to literally go hide out in the bathroom and eat my lunch in the stall. Okay. And like, that's something it's real personal to me. It's where the fear comes from. Like that spotlight that's on you of judgment. That's what I felt when I would go into that lunchroom, and it would just hit me with fear, paralyzed with fear. Growing up later on, I had that fear of public speaking, right? Same kind of feelings it would give me, that just terrifying feeling. Well, there was a time where I knew I could help a group. There was a group of people that were really struggling. It was these job seeker community, and they were hurting, going through a hard time. And I knew I had a solution that could help them. But what it meant was getting out and speaking. And I remember just being super terrified. I literally remember, again, as an adult, going and hiding out in the bathroom as an adult. Until one day when I left, I felt ashamed. I literally felt ashamed walking out. I was like, man, I could actually help these people, but I'm over here hiding in a bathroom, Anyway, so one day I got some paper, wrote some notes. What am I going to say? And I remember going out there like this, just terrified, until one day I didn't need that damn paper anymore. You understand? And, I just think it's important for people to go overcome your biggest fear, because listen, you talk about boost of confidence. Like, I feel like there's nothing I can't do anymore. Right. I've already overcome the biggest fear. Right. And so anyways, I just love that you talk about that, because it's personal to me, something that I've been through myself.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I think that that's really important that we share those stories because there's definitely other people out there that have had similar situations. And I think that it's so important that we see people and like are able to relate because when you hear that somebody like you or somebody like me struggles with that, you just don't feel alone anymore. And it's really that's why I say like listen, if you don't feel confident, if you feel afraid, if you feel fear, if you feel imposter syndrome, like it's okay. We all do. I'm releasing a book called Be Seen. That's like it's about being seen. And there is not a day that goes by that I don't have at least a little bit of fear or imposter syndrome or perfectionism or analysis paralysis or comparison or all the stuff that we deal with, at least a little bit of it. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. Sometimes I feel way in flow and it's not really there that much. And sometimes it's debilitating. But I keep taking action anyway. And the more that I do, the more that I learn. And it's so funny. I think it's important for me to share this about the process because I talk to a lot of authors who launch books, and behind the scenes, they always tell me that they're dealing with all the same things that I'm dealing with, but it out in front, the majority of them don't share that. They're like, "Oh, yay, promoting my book. It's so easy and fun." I want to make sure that I let people know that even the girl that wrote the book about being seen is sometimes afraid to be seen. But the key is that I don't let it paralyze me, and I don't let the fear stop me from doing the thing that I feel is my responsibility to do. I bring fear with me. I say, "Come on, fear, come along for the ride. Let's go. I'm going to be scared and I'm going to do it anyway." And every time I do that and I end up in my bed that night and I can say, "I did it today. I did it. I was scared, but I did it." I become more confident for the next day. And then the next thing that comes my way, whether it's a business decision, a difficult conversation, having to do like a really big opportunity that's like, a lot's riding on it, whatever it is, I just have more trust in myself that I can do things even when fear is present.
I just need to take you, like get a little miniature Jen, okay, and just like put you in my pocket and then pull you out whenever I'm feeling, those feelings. To just like have a little Jen on the shoulder, like, "Yo, you can do it. Just go, do it anyways." I need,
Great. Maybe we can make that happen. I mean, AI is moving really quickly. I would not be surprised if we had something like that in a couple of years.
Right? That's awesome. Okay, so your book also talks about, creating an engaging community, right, around yourself, your business, your brand. All right, so what are some of the initial steps to achieving this, especially for somebody who's just getting started? Okay, let's just say hey, I got an idea, I'm just getting started. How do I build an engaged community?
Yeah, one person at a time. So I
Mm,
think that people get very attached to the amount of likes and followers and engagement. And if they don't have thousands of people or hundreds of people or millions even of people following them and listening and paying attention, that it doesn't matter. But I like everyone to think about, like, okay, let's say you go live on Instagram and you have 20 people that are listening to you. Imagine yourself in a room with 20
mm,
people in front of you and you're speaking to 20 people. That suddenly feels like a pretty damn great speaking engagement for for most people. For me, I would love to speak in front of 20 people in a room, right? But we think that it's like this we compare our chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 20. We see somebody with a big following and they've got millions of people and then we're like, "Oh, I only have 100 on my live." Could you imagine speaking to 100 people? Those are 100 individuals that are hearing from you today. And the thing that I live by is I do the unscalable activities when it comes to building my community. Completely unscalable. I'm the one responding to my comments. I'm the one responding to my DMs. And in a company like mine, you would think that I have people on my team that do all of that for me. I've got some help when it comes to sending links and stuff, but you better believe that I'm in my DMs sending personal voice memos to people, sending personal notes to people because I know that each individual is somebody that I'm building community with, and those are gonna be my ride or die, and they have become. Like, I have a whole community that I built based on doing Instagram lives every day, and this was started as 5 people joining, and now every single day, I have at least 100 people that join, and that's probably not even a big number in the grand scheme of things, but I envision that as 100 engaged people that I'm speaking in front of. But here's the cool thing that happened. Now, those people that show up on that Instagram live, they are all friends. They all go to
mm.
dinner and lunch together. They were all at the event. They got me this little toy, like we have inside jokes together. They all meet up and do things together. It's from an Instagram live that they've all created friendships and communities within it. And now it's like I'm just the person that kind of holds the space for them to all go hang out with each other and connect. So it's really turned into a community, but it didn't start like that. It started by like just envisioning that I'm talking to one person, maybe like and just getting in the DMs and getting to know them and answering their questions and knowing what they want to hear and communicating with them and doing the unscalable activities. Unfortunately, community building actually means talking to people, you guys. It doesn't mean just like posting and ghosting and like ripping and dipping. It means getting in there and communicating and being social on social media.
Mm. And guys, I will tell you, she's not lying when she says she gets in those DMs and all of that kind of stuff. Because let me tell you something, she's done it with me. We've had some conversations through the DMs and stuff like that. And I think you even sent me a voice memo a long time ago. You had an event and unfortunately I wasn't able to attend it, but I really wanted to. And you sent me like a voice memo, and I was like, man, I really want to go, but I had some personal stuff I couldn't go. And anyways, but yeah, guys, she does definitely do that. And you do have a community. I got to tell you something. So going to the event was like, whoa, okay, hold up. And a lot of, women, right? A lot of women. So you're like a beacon for these women. Like you're showing them, okay? You're like showing them the way. I love that. Okay. Um, did you mean it to be that way? To be a beacon
No.
for no, it
No,
just
and
okay.
it started with my husband. He
Mm.
started this before me, and he just like, I don't even know why, and he never knew why. He attracted like 85% women.
Ah,
And he built the beginnings of this community. This business was started on an event that my husband started ages ago, and it was a very small event, and then I came into the mix, and we started doing this together. We built the agency together, we built the company together, but he started it, and the beginnings of this was always, always, always very skewed, very high female, and we just continued to do that. But I don't know, it's not specifically just for women. We've got plenty of men, but
oh
it
yeah.
it's there's lots of women, but it's very diverse. We have a very diverse community, and that we're really, really proud of that.
It was a beautiful community. The event, build your brand live, AI. Okay, build your brand live. Um, so that was your first one, right?
Our first of that event, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I gotta give you your roses.
Thank
Okay.
you.
How are you feeling, by the way?
Great.
Like I gotta say, that was a freaking awesome event. I got a lot of conferences. That was freaking awesome. Can I tell you
Thanks,
that?
friend. Thank you. Yeah, you can tell me that. We're very proud. And my event planners, they kept asking me, they're like, what's important to you? Like, what do you care about for this event? Like, what do you want like to happen? Like, do you care about the decor? Do you care about the swag? Do you care? I'm like, I don't care about any of that shit. Here's what I care about. I care about the feeling that we create in the room.
Mm.
That is all I care about. And everything is just there to help create the feeling. So lighting is there to help create the feeling. Sound is there to help create the feeling. If we have like the selfie stations, it's all there specifically to create the feeling. And then really the magic is in the connections. So it's my job to facilitate the connections in the room. And yes, we brought on amazing speakers. We bring in incredible energy. We've got Alec on the drums. Like we bring the love and
Oh
the
yeah, that
fun
was
and all
so
of that
cool.
from the stage. However, we make sure we empower everybody in the audience to see each other. We really
Mm.
create a room that's based on how can everybody help one another. And when you create that kind of energy in a room where you can be vulnerable, you can be yourself, you can go up to somebody new and say hi, and they will be open and loving with you, and they'll open up the circle and they'll bring you in and they'll be authentic with you and they'll tell you what they need help with, and you can figure out how to help them and they can figure out how to help you. And it's just that kind of an energy that starts with us, and we make sure that we create space for that, and then we just let the magic happen, and it has nothing to do with us anymore.
I love it. Are you planning another one?
Yeah, spring.
Yeah, let's go. Where is it
We
going to
don't
be
know
in
yet.
Dallas again, or where are you going?
No
You're not sure
idea.
yet.
We
Okay.
don't know. We don't know.
Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Okay. And also, I want to highlight something. Okay. Because I just thought it was super cool. And again, a testament to what you do and your perception and the way you frame things. Okay. So you had kind of an unexpected challenge that showed up during the conference.
Yes.
So Eric Thomas, right? Something came up, he wasn't able to attend, but your ability to handle the situation, and not only handle the situation, like again, you were able to frame it in a way that made it positive to the audience to say like, hey, and like I know for myself, I would have been like, that's like what's going on? Like the world's crashing down. I've been freaking out. Like talk to me about that, because your grace and the way you handled the situation was just beautiful. I thought it was amazing. So talk to me
Thank
about
you.
that.
I don't remember how I handled it from stage. We always like to pull back the curtain. I don't even know what I said. We like to just let people in and be like, listen, this is what happens when you do live events. Like everybody in that audience is an entrepreneur, and they probably will want to do a live event at one point in time in their life. And I guarantee you, someone will not show up for their event, or something will not go right, and something will go wrong. And this is live in real life, how you pivot, what happens. And guess what? I hate using this quote. Don't clip this by itself. I hate using it because everybody freaking says it. So don't make this the real. But everything really is happening for us, right? And if you think of it
Mm,
that way, or not necessarily everything's happening for us, but you can just have that perspective of, okay, this is what it is, but secretly there's a reason for this. And I will know the reason one day. So ET is not supposed to be here. And so we're supposed to do something else. So how do we openly share that with our community? Let everybody in and let them know, guess what? This just happened. Like, what would you do in our, in our scenario? Like, gosh, we're going to make the most of this and we're going to make it even better. And we're going to bring you something that you probably wouldn't have expected that might even give you more value than he would have given you. And actually, at the end of the day, Chris taught more AI tools, which is what people were there for anyway. So I think people were really, really thrilled about what ended up happening.
No, I absolutely love that, right? I love what you're saying there, okay? And yeah, it's a cliche, everything's happening for you, right? But it's so true, okay? And then, like you were talking about the AI. So I go to a lot of conferences, right? And you go to these business conferences, but then you got so many motivational speakers, okay? And I love the motivation. Okay. You got to have the motivation. I love that. Okay. They move you, they get you inspired. Again, it's how they make you feel, right? Make you feel amazing. But I also want to leave with like actionable items, like things that I can do and apply, because that woo-woo feeling goes away real fast. Okay. That like, it just does. You can go to I went to Tony Robbins. I have no idea what I learned. I just know I felt like amazing. And I still tell people it was like the best. I'm going to another one. It was like the best conference, but did I take away anything? Did it change my life? I'm not going to say it did. It just made me feel amazing. Right. So I do want those, actionable items. And so Chris really delivered that with the AI blowing people away. And so, you almost kind of like got rid of one of the best motivational speakers and threw in some more actionable items, which is great, so that people could go home and actually make a difference in their business.
Right? I agree. I was thrilled. I'm not thrilled that I love ET. Would have loved to have him there, but I thought that the way that it turned out was exactly as it was supposed to be.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Okay. So networking, right? Networking. That's what this show's all about, right? It's a crucial aspect of personal and professional growth. And your book, Be Seen, right? It's a philosophy that aligns, like, obviously with our podcast, the Who You Know show, and all that kind of stuff. When you filled out your registration to be on this show, you mentioned Gabrielle Lyon might be a good person to be on this show. Can you tell me about her? I don't know Gabrielle. Can you tell me about Gabrielle Lyon?
Well, you will, because yesterday she just made number 3 on the New York Times bestsellers list for her book, Forever Strong. She's number 3.
Snap.
New York Times best-selling author. So I don't think I need to say anything else. You should know her. She's a doctor. She's my personal doctor, and she's also doctor to many celebrities and stars, and actually some of our leaders of the country. And she wrote a book called Forever Strong, and she talks about muscle-centric medicine and the importance of building muscle and eating protein. And she's just a genius, and she's brilliant, and she's created an incredible brand, and most importantly, an incredible network. She wouldn't have been able to hit that New York Times list if she didn't have a network, and she did, because she was able to pull out all the stops for her book launch and be on every podcast and every show. Not only was she able to get those podcasts, but she was able to, of course, because she's so brilliant and genius, crush it on those shows. And she's an amazing person. And you want to talk about networking? Like, I've got my people that, like, her and I, like, we've got these rings. It's a tiger. We both wear them, and we help each other. And I used to be in friend groups with women that everyone was so competitive. And every woman thought that, like, oh, if she got something, it means I'm not going to get something, like in the acting world, or we would be catty and everyone would try to pull each other down. And it was just
crabs in a bucket, right? Crabs in a bucket mentality.
Yeah. I had to get rid of those friends. I talk about it in the book. And now, like, I really encourage everybody to find relationships. And I know it's easier said than done, but we just talked about a beautiful room that you could be in where there's going to be people that are open to those kind of friendships. But find friendships like the one that I have with my girlfriends, especially Gabrielle, where, listen, you asked me to refer someone, I'm immediately referring Dr. Gabrielle. She immediately refers me. We refer each other to everything, and we always tell each other, I'm the one speaking about you in all the big rooms. So if I get into a big room, I'm bringing my girlfriend with me. And the more that I lift my girlfriends up, the more that they're going to lift me up, and the more that we're going to lift women up in general, the more that we're going to lift up the industries in general. And that's what it's all about. So I was thrilled to be able to refer. She might be harder to get now. She's a New York Times bestselling author now. You should have reached out to her.
Well, I mean, I'm waiting on you. Listen, if you make that introduction, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I could reach out myself, but she sounds like an amazing person to have on the show. I'd love to get an introduction to her if that's something you'd be willing to do. She sounds amazing. Plus, I'm trying to learn from people like you that are hitting these bestseller lists. I'm currently writing a book myself, and so you know, it is it's a process, okay? And I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to level up to be like you guys when I grow up. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I would love that. Another thing too, you talk about visualization, putting it out there, okay? So I've actually put together, I did this a while ago. I put together a top 50 podcast guest wish list, okay? So top 50, and I put together even a little image, okay? So I want to share that with you. Would you be open to looking at it with me? I'm gonna pull it up, okay?
I better be on there, otherwise I'm not open to it.
Oh man, come on now, Jen. Come on now, Jen. Don't do that to me now.
I'm totally messing with you.
Hold on. Where's my graphics designer? Throw Jen on there. No, you're already on the podcast. What are you talking about? You're here today. What are you talking about? Okay, so let me pull this up. Okay, you're gonna get a kick out of this. Hold up. Where is it at? Here we go. Okay, so this is can you see my screen? Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay, so this is my top 50 wish list, okay? And I share this all the time because it's actually allowed me to get some people onto my show. I've already started checking some of these folks off, right? So you can see on there Ed Milet, you know, Tony Robbins, you know, Gary Vee, Eric Thomas, right? He's on there, Les Brown, right? You can kind of see where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
This is like my wish list, right? Here's just some of the people that I've had on the show. You know, I've had Grant Cardone, Elena, Tim Story, David Meltzer, Sharon Lecter, you know, now Jen Gottlieb, right? So I'm going to throw you on this image right here, you know, and, but it is important. I think it's important for people to put it together like this so you can visualize where you want where you want your life to go, right? Can you talk to me about the importance of that?
Yeah, I mean, this looks like just a really beautiful version of like a vision board. And I think that this is just like a really amazing reminder. Visualization is a really fantastic way to retrain the subconscious mind. And I really use it as a tool to prepare myself to take action with less fear. So I don't necessarily think that my visualizations magically made anything appear for me. They didn't magically make anything happen for me, but they did help me to create more belief within my subconscious so I could notice the opportunities to get the thing way more clearly, like, oh, that's an opportunity. And I could walk into that direction and I could take action with less fear because my brain already is very familiar with that outcome. So if I visualized having like whatever who did you want? Gary Vaynerchuk on my podcast, and I visualize having the conversation with him every single day. And it's so clear that I feel the feelings of having the conversation. There's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot easier for me to just like, let's say I get the opportunity to meet Gary. It's going to be like, duh, he's been on my podcast already in my mind. Like, I'm like, yo, what's up? Like, be on my podcast. Whereas if I didn't do that, I probably would have a lot of fear going into asking or walking into that direction of that opportunity, or I probably wouldn't subconsciously put myself in opportunities to meet him or network with him. So yeah, 100%. I mean, that happened with everything that I've created in my life. I visualized it before it was mine, including this book, including that stage that I was on that you saw me last weekend, like including everything. Gabby Bernstein writing my forward, Gabby Bernstein speaking on our stage. Like
that was beautiful. That was so cool.
Visual. Yeah.
That was beautiful, right? Like, yeah, I mean, you definitely, I think from what I know or what I hear stories about anyways, I think you are probably the best example of visualization in action to result, right? You know, because like I've got this checklist here, like I've got this thing, and you know, I've checked some off. I mean, I'm checking some off, and which is pretty cool. But I don't know, you have shown over and over and over again, and I think your story about how when you said you collapsed after you got the role and you were on stage and you did it and you collapsed, and it was like your aha moment that like anything is possible if I visualize it and put action behind it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, That's amazing, guys. Y'all need to go follow Jen. Okay, y'all need to go connect with her. Your book, you guys can get the book now. Is it when is it officially out? You can pre-order it now?
October 31st. Can you release this during that week? That would be amazing.
Jen, I already told you yes.
Yay!
Okay, 100%.
Wait, let me take a photo of you holding that thing. You look so good.
There you go. Absolutely. I'm gonna get this episode out and released before the 31st. I promise you that. Okay.
Or during that week.
Okay, or during the week.
During the week of the 31st. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna get it out. And by the way, I didn't know if I told you this, but we're live right now too. So we're live. So some shout outs: Jenny Mitz, Melissa Meeks. How are you? We got Donna Carter. So we're live. Lisa Parker, good to see you. We got a bunch of folks online. But yeah, I'll get it out there, and I want to make sure that we get some of these books sold. You know what I'm saying? Let's get you on the bestseller. Yeah,
and they can go pre-order as well. You can go to beseenbook.com, and there's a lot of bonuses there that you can get when you pre-order. So go pre-order the book.
Yeah, I noticed there's some extras in here. Can you talk to us about these extras? What does QR code do right here?
Goes to a surprise page with lots of extras. All the stuff that you read about in the book. There's some worksheets and extra stuff, so you can implement and take action.
There you go. Love it. So you even guys, it's not just a book, right? You're going to get a bunch of extras, bunch of goodies. Go connect with Jen. What's the best way for the audience, besides buying the book, if they wanted to connect with you, where do you prefer that they do that? What's the best way to connect with Jen?
Instagram is great. At Jen_Gottlieb.
IG. Y'all need to go connect with her. And matter of fact, I'm going to do this real quick too. If you're watching online live right now, I would like for you to take a screenshot of the show. Just take a screenshot of the show. Yeah, and then post this, social media, tag Jen, okay? Just tag her and maybe put what was your favorite mic drop moment, or what was your aha moment, your takeaway. Let's share some roses today, because Jen's just been freaking awesome. We appreciate you, Jen, for coming on the show. Guys, that's the show. It's all about who you know. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Who You Know Show podcast. My name is Trevor Houston, and if you've enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing wherever you listen and leave us a positive review to help us keep the mics on in the studio. Until next week, that's the show. It's all about who you know.